You faggot motherfucker, how are you doing?
The conspiracy is true.
Your gun shielding is disgusting.
This is punishment from God. This is righteous. It looks like the winning is endless. Pick up the mop to clean that up.
Swab the decks.
Can't mop it up quick enough.
Clean up aisle 7. Clean it up. Clean it up, boy. Clean it up. Clean it up, Jan. Clean it up. Clean it up, boy. Clean it up.
True to me. It looks like the winning is endless.
Will you lift my cum off the screen?
Will you lay down and just let Daddy Jim piss in all of our mouths?
Clean it up, Jan.
While you're in jail getting fucked by the big black bucks, I'm gonna let 80s girls suck my cock. We know that dick in the bedroom is probably submissive. Will you lay down and just accept this fucking horseshit?
Swab the decks.
Cleaning it up?
Clean it up, Jan.
It's being swept under the rug. There's nothing to see here.
All right, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to This Week in Nectar. Where to even begin this week? We've got cover-ups, we've got collusion, we've got the biggest drama this side of 2020. What will we learn? Let's get right into the news. I'm joined today with PPP.
Fuck yeah.
And Leo Pirate.
Yeah.
Where to even begin, lads? Shall we just dive straight in with H3H3 making the video on Keemstar? And we'll just talk about the aesthetics of the video and just how great that video was.
He just drops the full fucking nuke on Keemstar, blows him right out. You know, he just starts off with like the images of the snakes attacking him.
That's the best thing. The best thing is the interspliced snake tongue edits every time Keemstar is talking.
You have the haunted castle of Keemstar with the spooky fucking music as you go into like the evil dungeon and shit. And he's just fucking dragging up every one of Keemstar's sins. You know, he's just getting real petty about it, going back like fucking years and years, just shitting on this guy.
But no matter what side you fall on, right, this video is absolute nectar of the highest form, right? This is the apex of the art form right here. Ethan Klein has managed it. The skits are perfect. Every clip that he reuses and recycles, you know, neat hog day almost, throughout the video is just pure gold. And we finally get
levels of Kino never thought before possible. Godwinson, never
and that's
before.
It, right? And the thing is, the best thing is that none of this information about Keemstar is even like in date. You know what I mean? This is long since expired. This is stuff that's happened like 10, 6, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's being brought up because Keemstar's called the guy out for being fraudulent with this Payday 2 scam. But it's Kino nonetheless.
It truly is. Leo, what was your hot take?
My hot take was, instead of going into the claims of Payday 2, we walk through the Museum of Hate. The hall of the, like you said, 5 years ago drama, just dredging it back up way before we even get into the context of what the claims are even about. So it's good to be reminded of how awful Keemstar is, but I don't know if I needed an H3H3 video to know that.
No, I needed it. I needed it for my own personal satisfaction to see Ethan the Jew Klein just take down this other filthy, grifting piece of shit named Keemstar, who's just a total worthless sack of shit. And let's not forget, he's recently just been unveiled as king of the alternative right, king of the dissident right. So all knees must bow to Lord Keemstar, king of
Let's just talk about what the accusations were leveled at Keemstar by Klein in that video. I think, I'm just going off the top of my head here, he accuses the guy of... again, all of this is true, so it's hard to say accuse or allegedly. But he basically says that Keemstar labeled this old man as a pedophile when in fact he wasn't. He was just like this separate RuneScape old man who liked to interact with kids in a non-sexual way. He brings up Etika's death. Saint Etika, I go to bed every night, and just before I do, I pray to a framed picture of Etika. There has never been a more based black man than Etika.
Everybody has that poster of Etika above their bed, you know? The first thing I see when I wake up in the morning is Etika's smiling face. Looking
I light
down
the candles. I light the candles, and I play on my Bing Bing Wahoo machine, and I think of Etika. Every time I walk past a bridge, I think of Etika, and I go, you know, Saint Etika, you died for all of our sins.
Truly, truly.
So he brings up that, right? He brings up the fact that Keemstar's been involved in swatting. Well, at least egged on his audience to swat people, you know, has doxed people, has, you know, been a shady guy just in general, right? But I think the main thing that's stuck is the Etika thing, right? Because Keemstar, I mean, the guy, let's just tell it as it is. If this was Gator, if Gator was Etika and Gator had been sectioned 3 times and was losing his mind very openly and publicly, and there was medical history of Gator just like losing his mind, I don't think I'd go after Gator. I think my morals and my God and my Lord would say, no, you know, you've got to leave Gator alone. I certainly wouldn't be interviewing Gator 2 hours after he left the mental hospital, you know, for a drama. Let's get right into the news. I wouldn't be doing that.
You also don't have 5
million. There is a
million
line
subs,
in the sand.
Godwinson. That's why you don't have 5 million subs.
That's why I don't have 5 million subs, you're right, Leo, because I'm not exploiting the mentally ill gator. But the thing is, there is a line, and it's come out now that apparently Keemstar was the biggest homie to Etika. And Saint Etika, how dare you bring Etika's name into this as a personal weapon?
It's so funny, though, when these guys talk about lines and how you've crossed a line, this is too far. When they actually have no standards themselves, the only standard they have is, will this benefit me? If yes, it's good. If bad, no. That is, oh my God, you went after my sponsors. Oh my God, no. My money is the most important thing. Meanwhile, they're just ruining people's lives, accusing people fraudulently of being pedophiles, bullying a dude into suicide. But God forbid somebody should contact G Fuel and point out, hey, you guys are paying like this fucking disgusting muckraking piece of shit. God forbid. Heaven forbid.
Leah, what was your take on this? What was your hot take on this?
Going after sponsors? Or because
yeah, so I mean, what's happened is Ethan Klein in the fallout to this has contacted G Fuel, and G Fuel have apparently dropped Keemstar as one of their sponsors. But also, apparently, Keemstar is on the board of G Fuel anyway. He's got a heavy stake in G Fuel, so I mean, I don't think it's actually. I think it's a psych out. I think it's a fake drop.
Well, he's claiming he walked away from G Fuel. Whether that's true, or if he was dropped, or if he's on the board, I have no fucking idea, but it just sounds like a cope, and it sounds like some fake and gay man drama shit for sure. But now Ethan Klein has lost Old Spice and Adam and Eve, and these sponsors as well. So ultimately, at the end of the day, yeah, these two multi-million sub channels that should just mind their own fucking business and rake in money are just knifing each other to fucking death in the street. And I think
I suppose what we should talk about is the reason why we're actually gathered on This Week in Nectar. It's the reason why we're going to talk about this beyond Keemstar and Ethan Klein, right? Keemstar does a video called H3H3's Lies, and at the end of that video, he says that he's got a support network of people around him that are going to go after Ethan Klein, And that support network has included, amongst others, Ethan Ralph, the Killstream. We've got Toad McKinley, apparently. We've got a whole host of gun
That's not the proper
running.
Remember, his name is Toad McJudas.
Yeah. McJudas Iscariot. Let's not forget.
A fucking Judas!
A fucking Judas! And, the cover-up continues, except now they're serving a higher Lord and Master, a more powerful Lord and Master, because this is the Lord and Master that Dick Masterson simps to, that Jim simps to. Every time Jim's taken his channel down or has been unable to get super chats, who does he go to for intermediary with Susan? He goes to Keemstar. So Keemstar's the big daddy. He's the final boss.
He's the Thanos.
And what we're seeing now is Ralph and co. really, really running damage control for Keemstar. Where to even begin, right? Ralph today has just published an article, maybe even 55 minutes ago. He's published an article where he celebrates getting one of his fans to attack Ethan Klein's sponsorship with Old Spice or Adam and Eve or one of those companies. And apparently Old Spice, and this is real, apparently. It's not a doctored screenshot, but I'd be dubious because it's being reported on the Ralph Report. He's apparently got Ethan Klein dropped from Old Spice, So the power of the gun guard is in full force. You read Gator's Twitter. You read Toad's Twitter. You read Dame Pesos' Twitter. You read Ralph's Twitter. You read Warski's Twitter. You read Diorio's Twitter. They're all going anti-Klein. And you wonder why, right? You wonder why.
Well, let's not forget, Godson, you forgot the most important person who's running defense. You forgot the man who is the king of comedy and commentary online. Now that he's been demonetized, it's all dead. Let us not forget the blessed and beloved Augie RFC, the king of YouTube commentary and satire.
There we go. So, I mean, the cover-up just continues, right? This Augie guy, he puts out a video. Tears in his eyes. His voice shaky. He can't believe what's just happened to him. Because the event that's just happened to him is that YouTube have decided to demonetize him. We'll get into why. But he's demonetized. And he's made this video on Twitter. And he's talking on Twitter about how comedy is dead. Censorship is real. Comedy is actually dead because he's lost his ability to grub shekels from you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
This is the
the
ultimate
thing is,
tragedy.
this Augie guy, right? I mean, this isn't just a kid who's got a YouTube channel, you know, and has lost his ability to monetize his content. This is a fellow who was supplying gigabytes and gigabytes of CP to Warski and Ralph for them to make that, you know, foolish, naive Instagram stream where they were talking about CP and exposing the nonsense. This is the guy that supplied them with.
Yeah, he allowed them to go on their wonderful pedo pal adventure together. You know, where they're tiptoeing through the daisies, trying to expose the pedophiles. Meanwhile, the only one who was exposed as downloading CP were those three fucking idiots, Ralph, Andy, and Augie. So
there we go.
great.
And so instead of disavowing him, right, you're seeing Ralph and all of these people just in this guy's comments on this Twitter video saying, you know, we support you, man. We stand by you. You know, this guy has at least seen, if not downloaded, gigabytes upon gigabytes of CP. Augie RFC, you know, he's deserved to be monetized long before this. Demonetized long before this. Leo, what were your thoughts on this? I mean, we all watched the video, we all laughed at it, but what were your thoughts on the idea that
he turned this into an issue of like comedy, right? Truth is fallen in the street, equity cannot enter, and comedy is killed by demonetization. Right, it's just like, it's over, it's done. I had a dream, I had a vision, and now it's over. Clearly his content wasn't that important if he can only do it with YouTube monetization. Otherwise, it's not fun anymore, it's not worth any time.
Mind you, these are the same people who are dancing on the grave of my channel not even but a week ago. Just dancing on it, just thinking it's fucking great. And that was the full-on deplatforming. But now, for the sake of this poor man's inability to grub for shekels in the gutter with the filth and swine, we're going to cry our eyes out like it's another Shua. You know, we're going to cry our fucking eyes out for this. This guy, it was the most loathsome and depraved, shameless grifting I've ever seen. Commentary is dead. I thought this was America. I thought we had freedom. You know, like, it's just fucking just viciously depressing. Just on a whole other level, you're just, fuck, man. Can this guy not just go get a minimum wage job? He'd make about the same. Guy has like 12,000 subscribers, you know. He got fucking smothered in his grave, in his fucking cradle before he was even born as a big channel.
But
You know,
PPP, this is karmic retribution. The guy downloaded and distributed gigabytes upon gigabytes of CP, knowingly and willingly, in order to clout chase, in order to be promoted by Ethan Ralph and Andy Warski. That was his reward, right? And now, finally, YouTube have decided they don't want this paedophile on their network. Don't want to supply him with money. And I, for one, support Susan in this matter. Press 1 if you support Susan in demonetizing Augie RFC.
There are going to be hundreds of ones.
I'm seeing thousands of ones. Thousands of ones.
Thousands. The audience of tens of millions watching out there live this week in Nectar.
There's no sympathy for Augie. No sympathy at all.
Oh, yeah. People are pressing S to spit on Augie's dead fucking career. What a tragedy. What a fucking tragedy it's all over for Augie.
So, I mean, we're talking about Augie, and he's like a low-level capo, just like Toad, right? But I think with people like... But I've just been looking at Toad's Twitter feed, and pretty much, if you read Toad's Twitter feed, you get a good opinion, you get a good gauge of what the Gunt Guard are thinking, and of what the current agenda is with the Gunt Guard. And he's running Defense Force for Keemstar. He's calling like Ethan Klein like a money grubbing, you know, shekel grabber. This is Toad McKinley, right? There's no
Toad
shame or like
McJudas.
self-awareness. But I think it's a good gauge of something. If you read something on Toad's Twitter feed and you agree with it, then you need to change your mind.
Oh. Well, look, what he has to do is because he believes his only avenue to success in life is to grovel at the feet of a half Mexican, half Jew, who grovels at the feet of some bearded homosexual Jew. So he just has to toe the party line. Completely.
This is it. So I mean,
so what you're
the people
getting
that
from him is boilerplate, you know, just fucking garbage.
Masterson simps to Keemstar. Toad simps to Masterson. Masterson's got their social security numbers. I imagine that Masterson has a great deal of communication with Keemstar. Certainly Ralph does. Certainly Jim does. So obviously there's collusion. There's cover-up. This is even bigger than the Simpgate conspiracy. Just reading Toad's Twitter here.
How
You know,
high does it go? Who puppets here?
Toad's just literally tweeting for like Gunt Guard, Keemstar, Capo Force here. Look at this. This is Toad's words. You know, you could stop being a paper thin skinned pussy and just say I wanted to hurt him financially in the biggest way possible. You know? How dare anyone go after another person's sponsors? You know, this is Toad McKinley. This is Toad looking at the writing on the wall and going, you know, that could be me. You know, they could go after my Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship.
Oh, heaven forbid. Not the Raid Shadow Legends ad. Fuck. You know, no.
Not even Toad brings out the idea that Saint Etika died for our sins. You know, how dare you bring the brave-faced black man into this? How dare you do this? He died for all of us to live. No, Toad just blatantly says, how dare you go for the money? The money's the most important thing.
Well, that's what it is to Toad. It's a sad fucking day.
This whole situation has revealed like the Praetorian Gun Guard more than anything else, right? Because all of them are parroting the same talking points almost at the same time.
Who here remembers the day when it was a certain toadstool and a lolcow scholar who had drunken Ralph so upset? Does anyone remember that days? Now he grovels and kisses the ring of Gunty. Fuck. Good God.
But so I suppose we should now talk about Yo Mama. The Yo Mama guy has decided to wade in. And he's decided to link Keemstar to the alt-right. And he's decided to link Keemstar to Ethan Ralph. Now, with the Yo Mama guy, throughout the video, like he's saying that he's heavily autistic, you know, but he makes a good point. He makes a really good point. He basically says, even if you take out the alt-right stuff, he basically says that there's connections between Keemstar and Ethan Ralph. And every time that Keemstar wants something doing that's lower than him, that's beneath him, he asks Ethan Ralph and he asks the Killstream to do it. Now, I believe that. I know that for a fact. And I know that it's not just Keemstar that passes the buck on to the Gunt Guard. It's also Dick Masterson. Now, do we disagree with Yo Mama's point there, that there's collusion between these people?
Well, obviously not. I mean, there's clear collusion between all of them. And it wasn't Yo Mama that linked Keemstar to the alt-right. Keemstar himself has linked himself to Ethan Ralph, has avowed the show on his own program, said he loves it because it's an extreme show with extreme voices.
But PPP, how can Ethan Ralph be alt-right if he has a race-mixed marriage?
Well, he doesn't have a race-mixed marriage anymore, my friend. You know, he's telling us he's all about the white women now. He always had.
How can Ethan Ralph be alt-right if he's half Jewish? But how can he be alt-right if he's half Jewish?
Well, you know, it's just interesting how all of these people in the alt-right and in the white nationalist community turn out to be Jews or Feds. It just couldn't possibly be that they're not legitimate in their views and they serve as gatekeepers and subverters to try and turn other people into terrorists.
PPP, how could Ethan Ralph be alt-right if he's hosting streams every day with Mark Collette and Nick Fuentes and other such alt-right grifters? How can he possibly be alt-right?
There's no fucking way. You know, by platforming the alt-right, you prove once and for all definitively that you're not a member. Because
but PPP, how could Ethan Ralph be alt-right if he's got Rand as a co-host, who's maybe somewhat trepidatious about the Jays?
And Bipple. Oh, come on, guys.
I mean, how can Ethan Ralph be alt-right if he has a black man on the show?
Well, I know he's hired an abortionist as a co-host, some woman who just aborted her child at 14. Let's not forget that. He's now hired a homosexual as a co-host, an open homosexual.
So how can Ethan Ralph be alt-right?
You've got me there. There's no fucking way that this man could be alt-right.
The reality is that Ethan Ralph has no political morals at all. And I don't think he ever has. Maybe in the days of Gamergate, but they are long since gone, right? The reality is that they're all just grifters. And Ethan Ralph is perfectly happy to dog whistle and host and platform the alt-right if it means he gets money.
Yeah,
it means
the reality of it
more alcohol and more bottles of Maiden.
Yeah, Ralph deep down inside is a liberal. You know, he was a liberal before Gamergate. He got dragged in with the culture. Now he's in too deep, and he drinks every day to cope with the fact that he runs an alt-right show when he's actually secretly a total progressive, a total degenerate. His whole lifestyle confirms that. So, you know, he's just a miserable motherfucker. And I've heard from sources close to him that say, you know, he's had a gun in his mouth. He's been prepared to end it all. So I won't be surprised when that day comes.
Zidane.
Yeah. 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 So we'll see. We'll see when that day finally does come, but I can tell you that, guys, he's just a fake motherfucker. The only reason he ever avows anything or disavows anything is because he thinks it'll line his fucking pockets. So he's just the ultimate piece of shit. Like, I can at least respect people who are extremists, who have real positions and they put their life on the line for that or whatever. But this guy doesn't do that. All he does is just fucking say whatever he thinks can get him the most money, whatever's trendy at a given time. Which is why he's...
The reality is that Keemstar is not alt-right. Ralph isn't alt-right. But the fact is, there's collusion between these two people. Keemstar often uses Ralph when he wants lower work doing for him. Case in point, Mundane Matt getting fucked over on that flagging live stream, right? Who was there in that stream? Keemstar. Keemstar had prior beef with Mundane Matt because Mundane Matt reported Keemstar to the FBI for swatting his house that one time. Mundane Matt suspected that it was Keemstar. So Keemstar finally used Ralph as an inroad to get a revenge, to get karmic justice on Mundane Matt. And this is how Keemstar operates. The same way that Keemstar managed to get like an interview with Onision about 52 days ago, right? On the kill stream. He used Ralph. So Ralph is a low-level capo for Keemstar.
No, he's a high-level capo.
Yeah, he's a high-level capo for Dick Masterson, but he's a low-level capo for Keemstar. But the fact is that Keemstar is running all of these guys. And there's cover-up, and there's collusion. And you should watch the skies because the truth is out there.
Well, the truth is out there if people would only look for it. But unfortunately, we just don't have a large enough megaphone to amplify the truth out there and wake the people up from the total scam and subversion that is the cabal, the new Project 2 mafia, the Keemstar mafia of just total grifting and scammage. It's just a shame. It's just a shame.
No, I hear you crying there, Leo. Like, how can there possibly be collusion? Because Keemstar's the top dog. He doesn't need these guys. I hear you saying this. I hear you inquisiting on this issue, on this matter.
Where's Keem's new Project 2? I don't see he has an account. So how can he possibly be involved? I don't know.
Well, let me posit this to you, Leo. You're a high-level YouTuber. You're at the top of your game, right? And if you get involved in the lower affairs of the mortal men below you, maybe it's going to compromise your G Fuel sponsorships. Maybe it's going to compromise your merchandises and your D-Life sponsorships or what have you. So maybe you decide to adopt the Sargon model, where you promote low-level capos. You give them artificial relevance. You bring back their channels from the brink. You give them their super chats when Susan has taken them away. And therefore, they're forever in your debt. Therefore, you've got your own personal army to sort of run cover for you, especially when somebody like H3H3 comes at you. And they all respond in turn.
This is a hierarchical structure to the Praetorian.
It makes you think. It really activates
activates those Allmen, And the fact is that Jim is in this guy's pocket. The fact is that all of these guys...
Well, Jim owes this guy fucking 100 favors. Do you know what I mean? Jim owes him everything. Without him, he wouldn't be able to make thousands of dollars per stream talking about the coronavirus, droning on and on and on about how we must obey the slave masters and stay in our homes forever. Without Keemstar, that wouldn't be possible. He's got him unbanned 2-3 times now after he's been
got the super chat money given to him as well. Let's not forget,
there's thousands of dollars.
Also as well, how instrumental was Keemstar in D-Live?
Well, I just don't know. Do you know?
Well, there is a fundamental component where Keemstar is involved with D-Live at a high level. And there's a fundamental component to the fact that Keemstar is pretty heavily involved in the kill stream.
And Fuentes is also on D-Live as well, right?
Yeah,
it's interesting that they all, are in the pocket of the Chinese Lemon Emperor as well, and they all just happen to push Jim's bullshit coronavirus narrative. The conspiracy continues. The Chinese have bought up the dissident right in order to push their coronavirus insanity on us all. Fuck. Bastards.
So when Keemstar was saying at the end of his video, the H3H3 Lies video, when he was saying he has a network of people that are going to go after Ethan Klein, have we identified the network of people there?
They've outed themselves by their activity. by their tweeting.
There we go.
There you go.
And they always do this. They did it with Dick Masterson. They'll do it again. They'll do it again with someone else. But Keemstar seems to be the one that is the supreme overlord of these people. Because I'm pretty sure if Dick Masterson was deplatformed from YouTube, who would he run to? He'd run to Keemstar because he had a direct line to Keemstar.
Daddy Keem,
you know?
please. Oh, the evil SJWs deplatform me, Daddy Keem. Help me out. Oh.
Now, the Yo Mama guy, he had an anonymous source. And he smothers his voice in an electronic deep effect, right? Did you watch that in the video, lads?
Yes.
Well, I saw it. There's this anonymous source. We don't know who could it be.
So Ralph and Gator and the faggots, Del by Pesos and Bibble and Masterson, they're saying that they've identified the voice. They know that it's Ian Miles Chong. Well, let me tell you that I know for a fact that it's not Ian Miles Chong. I know who it is. You know, because we are Yo Mama capos. We work for Yo Mama in the same way that Ralph works for Keemstar there. I want to confirm here and now that I was the anonymous former associate that worked with Yo Mama to supply Yo Mama with 100% truth about Ethan Ralph and his shenanigans.
Godwinson, no, Godwinson, it can't be true. No.
We told Yo Mama about the St. Jude's scam stream. We told Yo Mama about how Ethan Ralph's guest contributor writer to the Ralph Retort murdered his own father. We told Yo Mama that Ethan Ralph hasn't got it together, is a degenerate alcoholic, has gone to prison for bullying Rihanna Wu and punching a female police officer. We did this, and we did this with a grin on our face and a smug satisfaction in our soul, PPP.
We just knelt before Lord Yo Mama and delivered up all the dirt, all the hot goss, as Dax would like to say, on Ethan Ralph. Buried him in Keemstar in the shallow grave, brother. The third man, this time, was Godwinson. Holy shit. The revelations continue on This Week in Nectar. You'll only hear this on This Week in Nectar, guys. Anything could happen. Anything could happen on This Week in Nectar, guys. Oh, fuck.
I suppose another thing that's happened today, Leo, and this pertains to you probably the most out of all of us, is that Josh did a live stream, right, where he not only sweeps under the rug all of the Simpspiracy stuff, but also he does so in a way that, I don't know, attacks you, but also fails to live up to the Gunt's expectation.
Right. So he locked the thread, the Simpspiracy thread, that's gone. The Dick Masterson Dex Herrera thread is an internet famous, but the original post, doesn't have any information in it. So he goes on this, stream he's doing, and he goes, that whole thing, what a failure, right? And they had this Leo pirate guy who wants to have sex with the Silent Hill dog in front of his audience, to the point where people are wondering, like, who even is this guy? What is he talking about? What? So he's trying to sweep it up, say it's done. He says it's finished, it's done, and yet... All right, the thread is still active. People are seeing Dick. He's going crazy. He's chimping out on Twitter, screenshotting Kiwi Farms, passive-aggressively responding. He's calling it Karen Farms now. It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
No,
you know
it really
why
isn't.
they're reacting like this? You know why Ralph is, calling Josh a snake, why Masterson's going after Josh now. And it's because Josh just didn't clean it up good enough. He didn't do it well enough, ladies and gentlemen. He needs to take a few lessons from Gator in sweeping it up, because Josh hasn't been doing the job well enough. So the fact is, they're snaking on Josh. Josh is the first to be thrown under the bus. Will Josh get his 2,000 shekels this month?
Remember that it's not even 2,000 shekels, because remember, 2/3 of the payments bounce every month.
Yeah.
So,
bounce or go directly into Dick's bank account. You decide.
Press 2 if they're going directly into Dax's bank account. Press 1 if they're just bouncing for no reason whatsoever.
I'm seeing thousands of twos.
Yeah, thousands, tens of thousands,
hundreds of thousands of twos.
So, it's really the last third of that $2,000. And by the way, Josh's new project 2 has gone down by a little over $100 since the campaign began to expose the grifter scam that is new project 2. So we just want to point that out. But yeah, Janny Josh has been trying to sweep it up now for what seems like an eternity, but it's only been a few short weeks where, first he locks the Dick thread. Then he creates a containment thread. The containment thread backfires because it becomes like one of the most popular threads on the whole site. So then as soon as things seem to quiet down a little bit, he goes, nothing's happening here. Locks the thread. Then people show up in Dick's thread and just start shitting on Dick. And Dick's like, why isn't Janny Josh's cleanup working? Oh my God, people are making fun of me online. I'm going to fucking lose it. And so he just starts crying at his fucking asshole about his Kiwi Farms thread, which only encourages the oddists on Kiwi Farms to just go even harder. And so now Dick is trapped in this like feedback loop where he's like commenting on his own thread, which causes commentary on him, which causes him to spurg out. It's a beautiful thing to behold for a man who thought that he was above it all, that he would never be brought down to the level of a lol cow. And it just bothers him. It bothers his pride.
But
it bothers his
isn't it palpable, PPP? Isn't it just so palpable, the fact that Dick Masterson expects Josh to clean it up for him? He expects this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's Karen Farms. It's over for Kiwi Farms. Kiwi Farms is dead. Kiwi Farms is full of gossiping heads. He expects this. And you know why he expects this? It's because Dick Masterson sees himself as Josh's employer. Because Dick Masterson pays Josh $2,000 a month.
Well, he runs
to clean
the
it
Kiwi
up.
Farms.
To
he
clean
runs
it
the
up.
Kiwi Farm. If Josh doesn't do what he says, he won't pay him.
And this is
or he'll fuck with him.
This is a small detail from the conversation I had with Josh. He was telling me that the SEO, right, the search engine results for when you search someone's name, it's the same across the entire form. I don't believe that for a second, okay? I believe a topic that has hundreds of replies, which the Simspiracy thread had, over 500 pages of replies, that will appear in YouTube search results. But it's been locked, and instead, Dax's official thread has, about 100 pages, barely any activity. The original post has no information. You guys think that was strategic or what? Do you think that was perhaps a maneuver?
Does anybody fucking believe Janny Juice's lies anymore? Does anybody actually believe anything that the fucking guy says?
Well, Josh, to save face in today's stream, PPP, he said that he's going to sacrifice Ralph for the corn harvest this year. So Ralph is going to be sacrificed to the rain gods. And Ralph's been in a tism, right, about this. Ralph's decided to go full nuclear on Josh, to go full scorched earth on Josh. Because you know what? You know what's not been happening?
What?
Josh hasn't been cleaning it up effectively for Ethan Ralph now.
Oh.
That they will expect. Isn't it funny that Ralph expects, and so does Dick? They both expect Josh to clean it up for them.
Yeah. No,
and when he doesn't clean it up, they are liars. Josh is a no person.
Yeah, no, and Ralph's. It's really worked out well for Ralph as his Kiwi Farms thread has, added 200 pages in the last 2 weeks. So it's a real winning strategy against Kiwi Farms to continue to fight against Janny Juice and tell him he's a piece of shit. I'm sure it won't backfire at all. I'm sure that I just want
to say that I was right as well about how Zoom has become Voldemort, he who should not be named. I think I said this in many, many videos, where he's become this Emperor Palpatine figure who cannot be named, right? And the fact is now that if you mention Zoom's name on Kiwi Farm, you're banned. You're put on the timeout. It's over for you. Goodbye. Say goodbye to your posts.
No, and people were questioning it, and they're all gone. And, people were questioning why, the Ethan Ralph, because, buried within Ethan Ralph's massive gargantuan Kiwi Farms thread were posts proving like how he doxed his pay pigs around Stream Me. And for whatever reason, those pages they've disappeared into thin air as though they never existed at all. And you just have to wonder why those pages disappeared. Where did they go? Who got rid of them? I don't know. But even that amount of cover-up and damage control wasn't enough for Gunt, Lord Gunty just had to fucking demand that Janny Juice mop it up even harder. He has to delete the whole thread, as if that's going to fucking happen. And so he's just losing his shit now. And Josh is just looking out for himself. They're all a bunch of snakes who turn on each other at the first opportunity. And Josh is like, well, if we just throw Ralph to the wolves, his blood will sate the mob. But it really won't. They'll just get even fucking more bloodthirsty and come after each of them in turn. They'll all have their turn, to be raped by the same mob that they cultivated to destroy others. It's very poetic. It's like it rhymes almost. It's incredible.
For me, I'm just amazed how he let what is it? He locked Dick Masterson's thread when he didn't lock a thread of this guy named Vordrak who went after his family. Okay. He hosts the New Zealand shooting, right? He does all these extreme stuff, but when Dick Masterson gets attacked, he locked his thread. When people start mentioning Zoom, he bans them. This is bizarre. Clearly there's a motivation behind his, supposed free speech. These people don't believe in anything, but they believe in free speech. But as you see by their behaviors, they don't even believe in that.
But here's the thing. If they wanted to convince us that there was no conspiracy, the correct move would have been to do the exact opposite of every single piece of behavior Josh has done.
Well, the fact is that Josh felt the weight of expectation on him because he realized that Masterson would expect him to take some action, right, in order to get paid that $2,000 a month. So he decided to do it in the most half-hearted way possible, which to us seems crazy because it was draconian measures where he was locking threads, censoring people, all of this crazy stuff that he's never done before. But he decided to do this to appease Dick Masterson. But that's not enough because Dick Masterson wants it fully clean. He wants a full dry clean. No survivors.
It needs to be sparkling. And Josh needs to get his fucking toothbrush and get down there into the shit, into the grime, into the filth, under the fucking dirty crust of the toilet bowl rim and just fucking clean it all up. That's what Dick and Ethan Ralph are expecting. But it's not what they're going to end up getting because the more that Janny Juice fucking does this, the more that his own fucking audience and his own community are rebelling against it. And he can't just ban the entire fucking audience of his goddamn forum or he'll fucking be totally homeless without anything. He's sacrificed everything in his life for this fucking autistic forum. And the idea that he's going to fucking crash his forum with no survivors to clean it up, he's cleaning it up as best he can. But they won't let him. I mean, just if you take Josh at his word, which is that there is no collusion, how can you explain his behavior? There's no way of explaining his behavior in a universe where there is no collusion. Because why would he lock the thread? Why would he create the containment thread? Why would he delete pages out of Ethan Ralph's thread? Why would he ban these users who mention Zoom or mention, the block fucking land? Block land and all this fucking shit. Why? Why would he do that unless there's something to hide? And he said, well, they're just taking my behavior and using it to justify the conspiracy no matter what. Dude, your own behavior really does justify it. If you just fucking let things go normally, we wouldn't have a fucking leg to stand on.
Yo, PPP. And that's the thing. When I talked to him about that, exactly what you're saying, I said, why are you doing this? He said, I run the site how I want. So he's going to run the site exactly the way that would help Dick Masterson. Exactly the way that makes sure.
But the reality is that it's like Josh's behavior isn't even appeasing either side. Both sides are pretty pissed off with it. His own fan base for, doing stuff that he's never done before, censoring people, not being the free speech absolutist he claims to be. And the other side, his paymasters, are pissed off because he's not cleaning it up for them well enough.
It's just shocking. I mean, Janny Josh ultimately at the end of the day needs to pick a fucking side.
Exactly. Pick a side. As Coach once said, shit or get off the pot, lads.
Yeah. If he's going to go full fucking janitorial squad, he may as well bust out the fucking Lysol, bust out the fucking gloves, the fucking sponges, and just fucking deep clean everything. And just let everybody know, hey, if you go against my interests outweigh free speech. So fuck you, it's my platform. Or he could do what's right and what he supposedly stands for and allow the forum to be free and allow people to post whatever the fuck they want. And he can fucking sacrifice Ralph to the goddamn harvest and sacrifice Dick to the goddamn harvest and try and save himself. But he won't do either. He's just going to fucking fence sit it, try and play to both sides so that he can try and keep as many users as possible. And by doing so, he'll please fucking nobody. Absolutely no one. And it'll backfire on him harder. But what are you going to fucking do? What are you going to do?
And this is it, right? The thing is with Josh, I mean, his defense will be, well, I'm not going to do what anyone tells me to do. I'm not going to listen to PPP and Goldmanson and Leo here when they're speaking sense. when they're just telling me not to ban users, when they're saying, you shouldn't be just banning people's posts for mentioning one person's name. You shouldn't be censoring people and locking threads. You shouldn't be doing behavior that's consistent with your behavior prior. You should instead, just not listen to us, Josh, because you're your own person, and just do everything opposite of what we've just said.
Well, the
Because
reality
clearly that's sticking to your morals a lot more. It's not the fact that, we are pretty much accurate here, and I think we've got the mood of the public here. We've got the mood of consensus and opinion on our side here, where people are looking at this and going, "This is shady." The more that you're doing to cover up and collude is just disingenuous, and it's causing a great many people to sort of go, "This isn't right. There's a cover up. The truth is out there."
No, just let him believe that what he's doing is the right fucking thing to do. Just let him believe that, that we're evil. We're trying to lead him down the wrong path. Look, when the enemy is making a mistake, we don't try and correct it. But the thing of it is that the enemies that I have, the supposed enemies, you know what I mean? They're all so retarded that even if I give them the correct advice, they never take it. They're so foolish. They're just so sure that what they're doing is the right course of action. And that overconfidence and that arrogance is what's led them to be blown out by a fat, retarded Canadian, a British aristocrat, and a supposed furry Asian for 2 weeks straight. I don't know how.
Well, look, PPP, like DMs between Josh and Ralph have leaked because Ralph is so butthurt that Josh said, it's time to sacrifice Ralph to the rain gods for the corn harvest to grow. So Ralph is like, in these DMs, he's saying to Josh, "You will be sacrificed long before me," as though they know that a sacrifice has to take place, as though they're just trying to put on the fucking midsummer hats and the floral gown on whoever they could possibly, find.
And don't forget,
so I mean, if it's not
in the DMs, Ralph was saying Kiwi Farms is revolting against you and stuff. Even he can tell the winds of change are occurring. When Ralph can tell that.
Let's just read that DM then. Ralph says 1,000 viewers all week and 2K, almost 1,500 viewer streams, but there's a ton of momentum against me, ? Not seeing it, TBH. PPP and Godwinson failed. Kiwi Farms is openly being mocked, etc. But we shall see.
What makes me laugh is right now on YouTube, our small This Week in Nectar is doing over 100 more live viewers than Ethan Ralph's YouTube restream of the kill stream.
He's got Gator on, lad. It's me and Gator time. He's got Dome on as well. He's got Bibble. And maybe there's somewhat trepidatiously in the background there. Maybe you've got Rand.
Yeah.
I'm somewhat trepidatious about going on a
really
stream with
pay. They're really winning. I mean, they're down to even if they're doing 2,000 live viewers, which they fucking never do. They only do that fucking for really big special events like the Styx debate or whatever. But let's say they were doing that. That's still 1/5 of the viewers they used to get at their ultimate peak. They were doing like 10,000 live viewers. I think at one time they might have been in like the mid-teens in terms of thousand viewership. But now we're going to brag about 1,000, 2,000 views as though it actually means anything. His show is in decline. And I mean,
the fact is, like, Ralph has been on Twitter all week trying to get Ethan Klein onto the kill stream to appease his Lord and Master Keemstar. But Keemstar's not going to go on a kill stream with fucking Ethan Klein when he could just do his own drama alert, right?
Yeah.
Do you know,
you gotta remember.
I mean, there's no way that Keemstar's going to help Ethan Ralph out. It's purely a one-way relationship. Keemstar goes on the kill stream in order to satisfy his own narcissistic lusts and be treated as a god, a visiting king. He's not going to promote Ethan Ralph properly. He's not going to allow Ethan Ralph the showdown between him and H383. Just not going to happen because it's a one-way relationship.
Absolutely. And that's how it goes. I mean, the reality of Ralph's program is as well. I was in the Chill Stream chat a few days ago, and there were supposedly 200 live viewers, but the chat wasn't moving at all.
Bots.
I post in the chat, I go, it seems as though all the viewers are bots. And after 2 minutes, of just sitting there, 2 messages come in saying, I'm real and I'm not a bot. So I go, there are 3 real people here and 197 bots. And then that was the only comment in chat for 5 whole minutes. I'm not even joking. 5 straight minutes. I timed it.
And this is the official restreaming channel. Now that Full Fag Forever has been depersoned as a traitor. Now Chillstream Uncut is restreaming the kill stream, and there's no bots there, lads. There's only 3 people in chat saying I'm real, but there's no bots at all, you know?
Now, somebody has pointed out to me that 10,000 was the high water mark. So anything more than that is fake. So I just want to clarify that it was only 10,000. They only ever reached the heights of 10,000 on that program. But it makes me laugh to see on YouTube us beating their fucking show that they do 5 nights a week for 3 hours a fucking week. They promote it on Twitter, on Telegram, on every platform known to man. But this stream with no promotion and absolutely zero hype is defeating them on YouTube.
But PPP, how can we possibly be defeating Dame Pesos? How can we possibly be defeating, somebody who's going to call in 10 minutes, apparently? Dick Masterson's going to come in and save the kill stream, Ralph is saying. How can we possibly be beating, the twin draws of Dame Pesos and Dick Masterson, the homecoming queen?
Fuck. Dick will tell us about all his high school achievements. He was the vice president of the drama club. Are you aware, guys? He was vice president of the drama club, and he read the school news every day in high school.
Can you imagine? Like, apparently, when you were at your peak in life, you were the homecoming king. Can you imagine that actually being alive to a degree where you're actually being somebody's gator at your supposed peak in life?
What you have to remember is that Dick, or Dax, let's use his real name. Dax was always a gator. He was always a beta. He was always subservient.
And he was Maddox's gator. He was Maddox's gator.
This is what I'm saying. So first of all, he was the gator to the president of the drama club in high school. Then when he finally made it big with the biggest podcast in the universe or whatever, with Maddox, he was Maddox's capo. He was Maddox's beta. He was Maddox's gator. And finally, the rage of being the beta, of being the second banana, built up within him so much that he had to cuck the alpha who gave him everything, Maddox. He had to cuck him. And then he replaced him with Sean, the ultimate subservient beta. And he hatched a scheme in his mind that he would never, ever be the gator again. He would never be subservient again. He would make the entire internet kneel to him. And so the idea popped into his mind for New Project 2 that would allow him to be the dawn of his own mafia, allow him to control the trolls on Kiwi Farms and the mudflingers at the Ralph Retort. Would give him all this power, and he would finally be the real alpha. This was Dick's grandiose plan, his master plan.
He's fulfilling the dream of every gator out there. Every subservient manservant has this in their mind's eye. This is the ultimate goal of every subservient fucking creature out there.
Is Gator
fetching errands and
is Gator Time going to follow the same path? Is Gator going to?
Well, guys,
I imagine Gator's going to set up a Patreon alternative where he gets people like Toad McKinley and Augie RFC to sign up as low-level
Before this show
capo.
is over, we must bring up one of the most important and critical pieces of news today. Ladies and gentlemen, Gator is going to give us his version of the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Yeah, and I'm going to pick this apart forensically during 4-hour-long live streams because I want to see what, Gator Lucas's vision is of the Star Wars franchise. I want to see how he's going to solve the Skywalker trilogy. I want to see how he's going to retcon the sequel trilogy. I want to see what he's going to do with Darth Maul and Yoda.
Remember that Gator said he would weave the entire saga in seamlessly. He said he would have weaved it all together seamlessly. And that the people who made the sequel trilogy had no idea what they were doing. They should.
I can't wait to read this autistic, sweaty fever dream.
This shit's never going to come out. But Gator is fucking... Gator, get the Star Wars going, Gator. Gator is going to... Once he fucking writes the first 2 chapters and sends it to Drunky, the fucking clown, the bozo, the gunt, and Gun, Gator, this fucking sucks cock, Gator. You fucking virgin loser. That'll be the end of the Star Wars. But maybe Ralph will just be such a douchebag that he'll be, oh, Gator, this is great. Keep riding, Gator. You're killing it.
That will be the cruelest cut of all, PPP, giving the man false hope.
Oh, fuck. Gator, it's going to be good. Gator, have faith. Oh man.
Just as Ralph is giving his approval, then he gets drunk one night, passes out in his own vomit, and dies. Just as Gator's getting approval. That would be the cruelest end.
Gator, people love Gator's version. Gator's version is actually like the definitive fan fiction.
Can you
for the
imagine
trilogy.
if it gets the hype the Snyder Cut gets? You know, people on Twitter are just trying to like, meme the Gator Cut to be released.
The
You know,
Gator
release
cut
the
needs
Gator-
to be filmed,
Yeah.
and Ralph gets overshadowed by Gator. I think Ralph would lose his mind. I think
This
he
is it,
could-
the Gator redemption arc. Gator teams up with George Lucas to deliver us the Kino that we were denied.
Fuck. It's got to happen. We got to get the crowdfunding together for the Gator cut. I'm telling you, the Gator cut's going to be unreal. Will there be an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter or whatever to fund the Gator cut? And if so, will it get more than $19?
Do you reckon one of the new Jedi that Gator's scripted in this sequel trilogy he's fanfictioned? Do you reckon one of them's called Kirsten?
Oh man! Oh no! Oh man!
His version of Rey is that pine cone that he tried to fuck but couldn't because it was Warski's sloppy second.
And there's just this self-insert of this like epic ancient old fag. That's Gator. You know,
Yeah. Gator's the Yoda of the sequel trilogy.
you know, he's just letting everybody know with his infinite wisdom. Fuck, honestly, like, do you think Gator is self-aware of how retarded he sounds, or do you think he doesn't actually realize that everything he says?
I
is
think
total generic
Gator's
trash?
watched so many hours of Jim's content and assimilated Jim's voice to such a degree, right, that when he hears himself, he thinks that, you know, it's Jim. You know, in a similar way that Norman Bates wore his mother's skin in Psycho and thought that he was, you know, his mother brought back to life, killing people.
Yeah.
I imagine that's how Gator operates. You know, he just wears the dead skin of Jim and thinks that as a simulacrum of Jim in 2020, he's an authentic Jim. He's going to bring Gamergate back. He's better than Jim. I imagine he thinks he's cooler
He's
than
the real
Jim.
Jim. He's the real Jim,
Yeah.
guys. Jim actually ripped Gator off. You know, when
No.
when Jim was going to make the conspiracy theory, he was watching tape of Gator and he goes, "Wow, this guy is based. I need to steal his affect completely and all of his mannerisms. That'll make me a winner." And so that's what Jim did, and he ripped off Gator, the eternal old fag. Fuck.
The first fag. Not even old. Like the original OG.
Yeah. The first fact.
Well, you got to
Yeah.
remember that Gator actually posted on 4chan before Moot. Like, Moot created the website. Gator actually fucking somehow, some way, found the website the moment it was created and made an OP before Moot even had a chance.
Well, you forget that Gator is a wizard. You know, he's been with us since the dawn of time.
Well, I know he's 40 years old and never had sex with a girl, so I guess he has inherited epic wizard powers. He's coming up on Elder God tier wizard powers. You know,
I thought he
if
had
Gator
a
would just
Puerto Rican girlfriend or something. I thought. What are you guys talking about?
With the blonde hair?
Oh boy, those Puerto Ricans, yeah, fiery, feisty women there. Oh boy,
feisty, fiery. Oh fuck! What a disaster! What a disaster! Just imagine being Gator. That of just your life is just being servile to such a pill popping trailer trash piece of shit as Ethan.
No,
Ralph.
I think the Gator Star Wars sequel trilogy scripts are going to take off. I think we're going to see Gator the filmmaker arise, you know. And this sequel script trilogy isn't going to be full of anime or Shota or anything that actually excites Gator. It's not going to be full of like Ethan Ralph character inserts or inserts of Kirsten as Rey the Jedi. No, you know, it's going to be 100% original content that hasn't got any sort of inspiration from his own life infused into it.
No, absolutely not. It's gonna be the best work we've seen since Wilshire Boulevard. The very best. The peak level.
Do you reckon the Luke Skywalker character, the grand old Jedi, is going to be a version of Jim? Do you reckon he's going to wear a 4-star hat?
Well, what I imagine to happen is that Luke Skywalker's will have a wife, and his wife will get fucked by a black man in this version, and Luke will sit and watch in the corner, because that's Ralph and Gator's sort of weird interracial cuckold fantasies. If the J. Caesar account is anything to go by, you just have.
Do you reckon any character will be wearing an ill-fitting luchador mask and mum jeans?
You know, you'll never know. You never know what's going to happen on the kill stream. You never know what's going to happen in the Gator Cut. And that's why you have to tune in to see the next chapter, the next saga of it, because it's just so unpredictable. It's so amazing. And that's what makes it great, isn't it?
I just want to round out some comments on Toad here. I'm reading the guy's Twitter, and he's calling people greasy dorks on Twitter. You know, the arrogance of this man. You know, the way that one of you greasy dorks can't distill your thoughts into a manageable tweet. I don't want to see a 2.2-minute video of you ranting like a lunatic into your vertically recording iPhone with a dirty camera. You know, so the ego on Toad now. He's ordering people on how to compose their tweets. Like, the guy makes 9-minute Raid Shadow Legend commercials, and he's not got time for you greasy dorks out there. His own audience.
Well,
Shameless.
we have to remember that Mick Judas he's more machine than man now, twisted and grotesque. He's more grifter than man at this point. That's the reality of Mick Judas.
Well, he turned his back on me in the Garden of Gethsemane PPP.
He betrayed you in the Garden of Nectar in Kino. He stabbed you right in the back. He kissed you on the cheek as though to lead the evil forces of darkness to destroy you. And this is the fate now of Toad McJudas, is that he is eternally damned to sweep it up for all eternity, to eternally mop it up on Twitter, on YouTube, on every platform he has available to him, all for the measly price of 26 pieces of silver that he can't even cash out. But this man, the fucking balls on this man to try and pretend that he's some sort of god that's above others, that he can judge other people. Meanwhile, he spends most of his nights watching Chantel with his pretend girlfriend, you know, talking about the Gravy Nation and fucking selling out for Raid Shadow Legends ads, crying about how his video isn't monetized. The guy's a loathsome fucking loser. You know, and all my interactions I've ever had with him have been him acting like he's better than me and treating me like a piece of shit. So I have absolutely no guilt whatsoever in shitting all over the Judas piece of trash that is Toad McJudas. That's right. Fuck him.
But the production,
I said it again.
Come on, the production values of that commercial are pretty good. Like if you look at the gameplay footage, it was a mix of his own. He actually captured his own gameplay footage. Now, he didn't write the script or anything.
Well, the contract said that all he had to do was capture 7 seconds of his own gameplay footage, and they'd still pay him $3,000.
Yeah, and he had to
as long as he signs that NDA.
Yeah, and he had to sell his audience. He had to include the links that capture the operating system and web browser of all of his audience, right? But it's $3,000, guys. Are you going to turn down $3,000?
And it wasn't the fact that Raid Shadow Legends sent him a script for him to read word for word, right? It wasn't the fact that he had to approve the Chris Hansen video before it even got published with Raid Shadow Legends before, he got his $3,000. No, he's doing it because he's a creator and he cares about you greasy dorks that he's shaving. Well, we have to.
The actual reason that this exists, right? Because if Toad was actually able to be successful on New Project 2 or Patreon, we may not have seen this so early. But because Toad has absolutely zero personality, zero that distinguishes him from anybody else who's just an avatar reading a script over images, nobody connects to him on a personal level to where they want to give him any money because no one gives a shit. He blends in with the crowd. He's so indistinct from everybody else. He has zero charisma, zero personality, zero distinguishing characteristics. Because of that, he can't make any money on Patreon or on New Project 2 because no one wants to give it to him. So he has no choice but to get down into the gutter for NordVPN, for Proton Mail, for Raid Shadow Legends. And that's the actual reality of him. And it's just pathetic to see. And he knows that his audience doesn't like this and that his audience will turn on him. But he doesn't even care because he thinks that he'll be getting that mainstream Keemstar audience any day now. The Gravy Nation is going to be just like the Drama Nation. This is what he believes. And so that's why he sticks his nose up at me and Godwinson and even Leo now and looks down on us as though we're pieces of shit. Because he breathes the rarefied air of Lord Keemstar and Ethan Ralph. What a fucking fall. What a decline.
I have a question. Usually people turn to the Lord when they're at their lowest point. If Toad got demonetized, do you think he could be saved?
Well, he's been demonetized, right? He got demonetized on his Chris Hansen documentary.
For his
The
full
guy was
channel.
paid $3,000 just to shill that Raid Shadow Legends in that 9-minute commercial on that Chris Hansen vid. You know, he wasn't happy with the $3,000 he was paid for a YouTube video. He was still crying on Twitter about how he was demonetized. The
What
fact
bothers
is,
me,
if he
Leo,
won't shut down, the fact is, if he won't shut down his new project 2, which only nets in not even $26, you know, if he won't do that, the guy is lost. The guy's not going to turn to the law. The guy loves the color of money too much. If you dropped a penny in the gutter, the guy would drop to his knees and scramble on the ground.
What you have to remember is my problem with Toad isn't even the Raid Shadow Legends ad or the shilling or the new Project 2 or the Patreon. I just think that everything he does is supremely low effort, low hanging fruit, exploitation of somebody else's mental misery, and might inevitably lead to this woman's suicide or self-harm or fucking God knows what's going to happen to her. And the reality of it is he's attached his entire living to some fat whale who could keel over and die tomorrow. And then what's he going to do? You know, and that's where I draw the line with him is he's just basically exploiting these freak show caricatures of people to try and make money. And to me, it's just loathsome. And he's not adding anything of value to this world that, you know, other people aren't doing. It's just low-hanging fruit videos.
But what about the Chris
fat
Hansen
people.
documentary, PPP? What about the Chris Hansen documentary that wasn't just a shell to hide a fucking Raid Shadow Legends advert in? What about that?
Well, let's remember, a lot
that
of people
apex
think
of art.
People think it's fucking fantastic. The only people who actually watch it and think it are great are people that have nothing going on in their lives, who just need background noise. They need constant background noise and stimulation because they can't be alone with their own thoughts. So because it's 2 hours long, it fires up those people and gets them excited. But there's nobody out there who's actually like, wow, what great documentarian work this was. This is up there with Fahrenheit 9/11. This is up there with March of the Penguins. This is up there with these great documentaries that have made hundreds of millions of dollars. The reality is probably a better documentary on Chris Hansen has already been made, if
Well,
not
the thing
will be
is,
made
PPP,
professionally
like,
in the future. Do you know what I mean?
If Gator released this Chris Hansen documentary, or if Gator was releasing the monthly Chantel, there'd be no difference in the quality between him and Toad.
Ooh.
Absolutely zero difference.
Ooh.
Absolutely zero difference. I mean, where is the artistry in Toad's content? Where is the Kino and Nectar that should flow from Toad's content? You know, I'm pretty certain if I was doing a Chris Hansen documentary, I'd make it a bit more engaging, and I wouldn't lather onto it adverts and Raid Shadow Legends sponsorships with every chance I get.
At one point, Toad did make a couple good videos, but now I wonder if those were just flukes. You know, if it was just he just lucked his way at the right place at the right time into making that Sargon Kekistan video, because that's really the only one that he's ever made. That was
with
worth
Toad, it was
its
a race
salt.
to sell out. With Toad, it was a race to the finish line. He wanted to sell out as soon as he possibly could. So he aimed his sights on various characters. He clout chased a few people. He went for the most obvious low-hanging fruit like Mundane Matt. And he built, you know, this weird sort of crazy little kingdom of sand based on this. He finally landed a whale, Moby Dick style, in the name of Chantel. And now he's riding her. He's riding the gravy train, literally a gravy train. He's printing shirts with the word "chug the gravy" on. He's riding this until that woman dies. And the thing is, that was what he was after originally. He was after a money cow. He was after someone of which he could monetize, of which he could build his own little life around, which was the worst way of making content, full stop. You know, if you're not going at something creatively, if you're purely going at something to make some money, to sell your soul to Raid Shadow Legends or NordVPN or Proton Mail, the audience are going to see through that. You know, and it's not that I hate money. It's not that I hate people making money. On the contrary, we all love people making money. The fact is that Toad would sell his own mother for 26 shekels, would sell out his own principals for 26 shekels, his own friends for 26 shekels. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be 26 shekels. I'm pretty sure it could be 19 shekels or 5 shekels, because the guy loves the color of money too much.
What a shame.
What?
You know, the craziest thing is I remember talking to him, I think, what is it, a year ago? When the Gun Gate first came out, and I was saying, I've seen it happen so many times, Toad, where people, get super chats, they get the sponsorships, and they change completely. Back then, right, he had less subscribers than me. Now, right, he's broken out. He's double my subscriber base and stuff. He's getting sponsorships, and he's telling me $3,000 is $3,000. It's just amazing how quickly the corruption occurs. How quickly. So quick. But, that's already known.
But if he does it ironically, then it's fine. If he says it's a shady thing to do and does it anyway, it's fine, isn't it, Leo?
Yeah, it's funny. He's just.
Well, this is the standard that Daddy Jim established. The Daddy Jim standard that made it cool and okay for everybody to eat grift. Once he fucking did it, the last dam of resistance was broken, and now everybody is fucking just a total whore, totally bagger. And because Jim does it ironically, it's perfectly fine. Well, if Daddy Jim does that, you have a problem, take it up with Daddy Jim. So it's all fucking, at the end of the day, the cancer always comes back to Jim as the root cause. Somehow, some way, Now,
you want to throw a challenge out to Jim, don't you, PPP?
Well, yeah, I think I want to challenge Jim right now to debate me on the coronavirus. I think that Jim is a total piece of shit. He's a scumbag who's aiding and abetting the New World Order globalists into forcing us all to stay in our homes for all eternity. I don't think that because there's a second wave or a third wave or a fourth wave. I mean, once the second wave shit's hitting, which they're now saying it's already happened, at that point, I've realized that it's a complete bid to just have perpetual waves forever and just completely put us on control, technocratic lockdown and slavery. But Jim believes that it's best.
It looks like he has. Oh fuck! I thought it was just my microphone, so I reconnected.
He dropped out of the call. Yeah, he just dropped out.
PPP got too hot for This Week in Nectar. His take was just too hot for This Week in Nectar.
Just too hot, the take.
Oh fuck!
Oh, there you go.
I don't even know where you were when you left off, PPP. You were calling Jim, a Chinese fucking agent there, saying that he wants to keep you under the thumb. It's going to come more in waves.
If he wants to have a real debate on the issue of the coronavirus with somebody who's not like Dick Masterson, a man who fucking slurped his balls and licked his pubes the entire fucking time, then he can speak to me. But Jim only goes on Hugbox fucking shows where everybody bows down to him. People tell me I was too fucking soft on Jim last time. Well, I certainly won't be this time, because what Jim is aiding and abetting is the wholesale enslavement of humanity. So fuck Jim, fuck the slave masters, fuck the globalist elite, fuck the Jannies, and fuck the Jews. That's about it.
Whoa. Sounding like a Ralph Retort stream now, but anyway, continue.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, you're forgetting that Ethan Ralph is the leader of the white race.
He is the leader of the white race.
He's going to lead us all to our salvation, PPP. You're forgetting this.
Now, we got to remember that on This Week in Nectar, we love Israel, we love the Jews, and we completely...
Look, I mean, at this point, we are in complete support of Ethan Klein, right? We support the Mossad agent there, Ethan Klein, in his crusade against Keemstar.
We love
Keemstar
him.
is the head fucking godfather of all of these people. Once you cut the head off Keemstar, they all die and wither away. So Keemstar,
is my Jew. He's my Jew.
And he's my Jew also. He's our Jew. He's truly our Jew.
That's right. What a great and noble man. Because of him, I believe in a one-state Israel solution now. Because
As do I. I'm donating to Laura Loomer's Patreon right now.
Yeah. Israel had to build a wall, guys. And every day bombs get dropped on Israel. They get dropped and Israeli children get killed by Palestinian rockets. And all the Israelis want to do is just ethnically cleanse the Palestinians. And we won't let them. And I don't understand why we won't just let them ethnically cleanse the Palestinians when every day Jewish children are dying from Palestinian rocket attacks. Would you in England, Godwinson, would you allow children to be killed by rockets?
This is the true esoteric message that is carried within the allegorical freight of H3H3's content nuke Keemstar video. If you truly watch that video a few more times, slow it down, drop a few tabs of acid, you will come to the conclusion that we need a one-state Israel. We need to nuke Palestine, and we need to promote Israeli interests in the West.
Speaking of acid, does anybody remember that Dick couldn't drop acid because I was inside of his mind?
This is reality. He tells his own, shriveled up girlfriend that he stole from his, lord and master when he was Gator. He tells his own girlfriend that he can't drop acid tonight. He can't drop LSD tonight because he's thinking about PPP too much. He might, if he hallucinates too much, he might see your asshole consuming him. The starfish might consume Dick Masterson, Dax Herrera. He might find himself yet again up the starfish of another more powerful entity, in the same way he was when he was Mad Cux's Gator, in the same way he was when he was the vice president of the high school news club.
Well, let's remember that Dax is so insecure about himself that he had to have plastic surgery done on his nose because he wasn't
Let's
happy
get
with
into that, right? The guy's a half Mexican Jew, and he's so ashamed of his own visage that he has to get a nose job because he's the homecoming king, right? He lives in a Barbie doll mansion, but he has to get a nose job because he's that ashamed of his own genetically
he's ashamed
given
of his
nose.
Semitic features. He wants to remove those Semitic features, but unfortunately, what he's turned himself into is fucking some like Mexican looking fucking weird red-faced hillbilly looking cunt. He's just some fucking weirdo now. He's some middle-aged fucking bozo. But, he's got plastic surgery because he's insecure in his own appearance and his own visage. He's insecure about everything, about his women, about his relationships, about how much money he makes and where he lives. And you just see that all throughout his personality. It's why he's spurging out at the Kiwi Farms right now. He's upset.
You know what Keemstar is to Dick Masterson? Keemstar is Dick Masterson's fantasy, is what Dick Masterson says he is to other people. Keemstar lives in the mansion. Keemstar probably bags 2 hookers a night. Keemstar probably was homecoming king, And I don't think Keemstar's ever been a Gator like Dick Masterson. So Dick Masterson simps for Keemstar in this way because he realizes that, he is the Coach Red Pill to fucking Keemstar. He is the fraudulent, fake, half-Jew to Keemstar's lauded greatness.
And after my shoot promo on Dick today, he's decided, Dax has, that he's going to invite me on his show again this weekend. Will I go on the show and kneel to Daddy Dick? Absolutely fucking not. Fuck him. He's like, oh, come on, restart the podcast with me, PPP. Absolutely not. He missed out on me saving his career.
Press 1 chat if PPP should go on Dick Masterson's show and raise the live viewership from 100 viewers to 400 viewers. Press 1 if you want to see this happen. Press 2 if you want Dick Masterson to languish in exile and accept that he only gets 100 viewers per live stream with his Sean the Sheep co-host. Lots of 2s. So many 2s. Masterson's languishing in exile.
The guy, he's literally begging for me to come on his show because he wants to try and get his win back. But there's absolutely fucking nothing for me to gain by talking to that grifter piece of shit again. All that will happen is I'll just embarrass and humiliate him again. And I've already done that once. And I continue to live rent-free inside his mind. So, if Dax wants to pony up, let's say if he comes up with $10,000 tomorrow.
10 grand. Pay PPP 10 grand. Which is not even like a day's wage for you, Dick Masterson, in your Hollywood mansion. Pay PPP 10 grand to come on the show. He'll do it for free.
Yeah. If I get $10,000 directly
PPP will do it for free.
I will do it for free for $10,000. That's right. Absolutely.
There we go. There are the terms. And he wants to... And if you don't trust PPP, you can put the money in escrow with our lawyer, Leo Pirate.
Yeah.
And we want the money in escrow by 7 p.m. tonight.
Yes, the money needs to be in escrow by 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturday, May 23rd, because I need to purchase the All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view tomorrow night, and so I need that fucking money right now.
And the only way we will discuss these terms further and how we are going to negotiate the escrow is via Josh from Kiwi Farms. Josh from Kiwi Farms is going to be our ombudsman. He's going to be running our errands for us all.
Yes. That's right. Josh is the carrier pigeon. You know what was funny is Josh, as soon as I called him out as V and as the carrier pigeon, that's when he stopped wanting to be the go-between guy. You know, not until that moment when I said that he was the V and the carrier pigeon, he then realized he got some self-awareness and was like, holy
Well,
fuck.
I think, look, I mean, Josh isn't like an unintelligent person. He knows what's going on. He knows that the more he runs Defense Force for these guys, the more it hurts him personally. He knows that he didn't want to do it. He knows that, you know, he half-assed the cleanup, and he knows why they're pissed off. So I hope that we have a redemption arc with Josh. I hope Josh severs the ties with this $2,000 a month. I know it's the only real currency that's going into Serbia at this point, but I mean, he should have a bit of self-respect because he realizes he's not going to please these people.
Well, he says that, oh, well, if Dick fucked me, I could find that $2,000 on a different platform tomorrow. I go to Subscribestar. Then why don't
no,
you?
No, Subscribestar probably wouldn't have him. You know, the only reason he's with Dick Masterson is because Dick Masterson has somehow managed to not become a terminated merchant, probably because he is half merchant.
What he claims, the only reason, he claims he can move it all tomorrow. So if that's the case, why don't you just do it? Just do it. Get the heat off you. The
thing is, though, like, this is being operated via Dick Masterson's own like bank account, isn't it? I mean, Dick Masterson's the only one that's actually properly paying Josh, you know, and so Dick Masterson's laid out his own sort of financial status and ability to trade on the line for Josh, you know. So I understand why Dick Masterson wants sizable favors for this, because every other person that's hosted Josh payment-wise, any payment processor that's given Josh the ability to make money or collect money has, you know, taken them off there, has been deplatformed. So I mean,
makes me laugh,
Dick Masterson is taking a big risk because he could be depersoned for 10 years as a terminated merchant.
But why would Dick take this risk for Josh? Because we know from his own words.
Well, look, Josh runs a great big
we're getting
forum.
There, but let me go.
You know?
So, but we got to remember, Dick in his own words said that he would not allow Milo on New Project 2 because it would bring too much heat to the platform.
Right.
But he allows Josh, who hosts Kiwi Farms.
Milo is irrelevant. Like what? I mean, Milo doesn't
provide anything for him.
Yeah, but Milo doesn't have like this tranny army that could run Defense Force for, you know, any thread that's set up, any scandal that's set up surrounding them. You know.
Exactly. He doesn't have that. So that's why it's not a free speech crusade. Think of the most censored man in the world right now is Milo Yiannopoulos. He gets shut down everywhere he fucking goes. He can't even show up in the fucking street without people harassing him. He has to have like $1 million liability insurance to hold events, all this shit. And you'd think that would be the first guy, the poster boy for a Patreon alternative. But no, we don't give a shit about that. What we care about is what do you bring to the table? Because you're disgraced and you're a joke now, and most of your fans have abandoned you. So I don't need you. Instead, I need Josh.
I need someone who will troll shield me, basically. I need to ingratiate myself with people who will troll shield me. And that's Dick Masterson's MO.
Yeah. But you forget about shit like this, you know? People don't look into the clips of Dax saying, no, I wouldn't let Milo on. Don't tell Milo to apply for a New Project too. You know? People just fucking let this shit slide. But all these motherfuckers have admitted all their crimes, and all their horseshit has already been admitted in the past previously.
Can I bring
it just needs to be dug up.
Go ahead, Leo.
So there's a tweet from Dick that he gave recently that basically shows his position over Josh, okay? On his Twitter, people are saying, you're acting ridiculous. Stop screenshotting your Kiwi Farms thread. Stop chimping out. His response was, yes, I'm new to the internet. Please explain to me the rich culture of your bulletin board. I'm just explaining to you why Null might not want a bunch of lies and nonsense shitting up his site, especially from someone who wants to fuck him over. Duh. See the veiled threat there? So, you know, Null, you don't want to have these lies spreading on your site. You got a nice form there. Yeah, you got a nice $2,000 you're making every month, right? You don't want that to disappear, do you? Right?
As though he's never hosted lies or misinfo before. See,
this is Dax, it, right?
Dax was totally fine with lies and misinfo about me or about anybody else. Chris Chan, Tommy Tudor, God knows who else.
Well, Maddox, for example. Maddox, right?
Yeah, Maddox. All, you know, people who he doesn't like, he's perfectly fine with disinfo and lies being spread about them. As soon as it comes to him, then he cries. He is the eternal man living in the glass house, throwing fucking stones, expecting nothing to come back his way. And now that it has come back his way, he's going to cry about it. screenshot it on fucking Twitter and try and bring it up. Juice, why aren't you fucking cleaning it up, Juice? Fuck!
But that was Dax Herrera's equivalent of calling Josh into the office. If this was an office and Josh was having to turn into work for his boss, Dick Masterson, Josh would have been summoned into the office for a quick 15-minute chat where he has a disciplinary from Dick Masterson for not being quite as effective in cleaning it up. You know, a performance review would have taken place, and Josh would have failed the performance review. He'd have been deducted a few points on his salary there.
Well, that's what happened. That's why he's down $100. It wasn't.
There we go. Yeah, the $100 is just Dick Masterson's just taking away that $100. Yeah,
that $100 goes into my pocket now, Juice.
There we go. Boy. There we go.
You know, and what's Josh gonna do? Is he gonna say anything? No, he can't do anything. He's fucking some transient living in Serbia with no fucking money and deep in debt. He can't stand up to fucking Daddy Dick. And the idea that he can is just a fucking cope. It's just a total cope. He has no other source of income. How is he gonna hire a lawyer? How is he gonna fight this fight from fucking Serbia? He can't explain it. It doesn't make sense. Fuck.
So, do we have any other topics for tonight, or are we wrapping up? Because we've gone for an hour and 20 minutes, right?
Sure. I mean, we can wrap up. We can maybe read the chat for a bit. So we'll give like 5 minutes for the chat, see if any other topic comes up. I think we've covered a lot this week, right? We've covered a lot of topics. We've covered the sort of Keemstar collusion conspiracy angle, how Keemstar is involved, you know, at the back end of all of these people, how all of them are, you know, running defense force for Keemstar now, how much of a disgrace Toad is, how much we're looking forward to the Star Wars Gator cut, how much we're looking forward to, you know, seeing how this plays out between Josh and Ralph and Masterson and how he's not cleaning it up effectively. Will he lose $100 more? Will he receive another pay cut? You know, another disciplinary? Will he be fired in the end? Will he have to change departments? Or who knows?
Josh did say I was like Moses. So, I mean, that might be the end for
No.
Josh.
He said you were like Moses. Moses.
Oh, yes. Moses.
Moses. That's another man who's never heard the word Moses before. Like,
he probably hasn't.
Right.
He's just
the worst part of that stream, right? And I feel bad for Josh here. Like, Josh is in the stream. He's saying that, you know, I know everyone finds my voice annoying. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I don't talk for days. Like, the only time I talk is when I talk to you here. You know, once a week. And a part of me died. A part of my soul just withered in that moment. I felt so bad for Josh. Someone needs to talk to Josh in Serbia. Maybe Coach needs to fly out and, you know, ride the Trans-Siberian Express with Josh.
It's too late. Josh wouldn't clean it up for Gonzalo, you know, so it's over. Gonzalo won't save him now. Without Gonzalo.
Tuscan says, is Coach Red Pill really the mastermind of all of this? Because Josh wouldn't delete his Kiwi Farms thread for a visa. Yes, that's right. We are agents of Coach Red Pill. We are working for Coach Red Pill. We are doing this because Coach Red Pill is slighted that Josh didn't delete that Kiwi Farms thread or hide it from the Google search algorithm, because Coach had a multi-million-dollar deal with this Chilean syndicate that was going to clear up. But what happened was this Kiwi Farms thread got in the way. They searched Gonzalo Lira and it got in the way of the multi-million-pound deal, and it's all over. So now we are working purely on revenge for Coach Red Pill's ghost. He left us a set of instructions, jigsaw style, and we're following them through posthumously.
Gonzalo has prepared for all contingencies, all options. He has an option for. The plan that we're following is so masterful from Gonzalo. The fools can't even see it coming. And I mean, even though we've revealed that the entire reason the op was done was just to destroy Janny Juice, and that everything about Dick and Ralph and Keemstar, that's all been a distraction. It won't matter anyway, because Gonzalo has prepared for this moment where we've been called out, and he has the contingency plan in place. So get hype, Gonzalo, the puppet master of it all.
Hans, and this is a good topic we should touch on, really. Hanzo says, I like how Jim specifically states he's been gone for 12 days on his first tweet today. I think the reality is that Jim was gone because some autists on Kiwi Farms doxed his new house, and it's a nice house. But the fact is now, I mean, would you live in that house? Would you sleep in that house knowing that the Sweetie Squad could turn up at any moment and burn an effigy of you on the front lawn? You know,
Well,
if I were
absolutely,
Jim,
I
I'd want.
wouldn't-
Look, if I were
Yeah,
Jim, I'd want an AK-47. I'd want a 6-foot high electric fence. I'd want like several Dobermans. I'd want security, especially that these autistic, transsexual Sweetie Squad guys, you know, could arrive at my house during any moment in
But
time.
no. He said he loves his fans. He loves the Sweetie Squad. So I think you're kind of overshooting there. But PPP, go.
Well, I think that the only reason I wouldn't live there is because he doesn't have a whole home water filtration system that's able to remove the contaminants from his drinking water, such as lead, chlorine, chloramine, organic materials, all that stuff. And so I personally am going to arrive soon at Daddy Jim's house to pitch him a water filter. And if Daddy Jim doesn't want to debate me on the coronavirus on the internet, I'll go to his doorstep and explain why he needs a whole home water filtration system today. I think that's the main concern that Daddy Jim should have. Press 1 in chat if I should sell him the filtration system. Press 2 if we should let him die from lead poisoning.
I'm seeing thousands of ones. People want you to doorstep Jim. People want you to sell the water filter to Jim. People want Jim to have a clean glass of water.
Well, this is what Jim needs and he deserves. Look, Jim has done so much for us, so much for every single person in this subsection of the internet, that he deserves to have clean water. Nay, I demand that Jim have access to clean water. And that's why I'm road tripping to the great state of Minnesota to ensure that Daddy Jim can have a perfectly clean, pure glass of filtered water, courtesy of Home Water. Yes.
I want to read a super
But seriously, right? Like, the house, you know, I mean, should we just talk about how nice the house is? I mean, that's a better house than Dick Masterson's Barbie doll mansion, right?
Well, yeah, for a fraction of the price. Jim
Exactly.
he has more bathrooms and bedrooms than Dax Herrera.
But 'tis a poison chalice, PPP and Leo. 'Tis a poison chalice. For the house is lovely and bountiful and lovely and nice. Yet it is also lovely and cursed. Also lovely and poisoned by the Sweetie Squad, who could turn up at any moment and shoot me in my sleep. Would you spend a night in Jim's haunted mansion? Press 1 if you'd spend the night in Jim's haunted mansion. Press 2 if you wouldn't live in that house for fear of being murdered by the Sweetie Squad or any random autist that want to take out their vendetta on you. If Terry Davis was still alive, like, are we sure that he wouldn't have turned up at Jim's house with an AK-47 to try and mow him down?
Yeah, I mean, his fans killed Terry Davis, so I mean, he should be worried. I mean, they know no bounds, so I'd probably leave. That's probably what he spent the 12 days. They fled. They went somewhere else.
God only knows. I mean, he's going to blame it on his computer, but I think that Jim's just trying to avoid facing all the controversy that's been going on the last few weeks, and that's why he's ducked out. So he doesn't have to face heat or face consequences for saying there was no proof that these people did any flagging, there was no collusion, there's no evidence of it. Even though evidence has come out, Leo's put out his video. Will we see Daddy Jim's response to that? I'm guessing not, even though he committed to following up. But,
well,
you know,
Flying Terminal here says to Leo, why was there no mention of Raid Shadow Legends in your video? About Toad, why was there no slight on Toad? But you're better than Jim.
Well,
Response, Leo.
The truth is, my application to New Project 2 is still pending. And Dick personally came back to me. He says, you could do your little video. No mention of the Toad guy. And my script, I had a huge section, right? An entire paragraph dedicated to Toad, and I just scrubbed it and made the whole video censored it. All right, that's all jokes aside. He wasn't in the stream. He didn't flag any videos. And I made a joke about Raid Shadow Legends at the end anyway, so whatever. And I joked about him on the stream today, so whatever.
That's not good enough. You need to personally put Toad up on the cross and with the hammer drive the nails through his hands and feet, Leo. This is what you must do. You must twist a crown of thorns upon his brow and spit upon him and scourge Toad. This is what you need to do. Otherwise, it's not good enough. It's not good enough.
Only way to prove. I'm sorry. I apologize. in advance.
I don't know how we're ever going to forgive you, Leo, but we're going to try. We're going to try. All right. Anything else from the chat?
Well, I'm not seeing anything. Are there any last-minute questions, chat? By all means, fire away. We've got Phantom Organization saying, why is Godwinson, PPP, and Leo Pirate sweeping in capital letters the question about the Silent Hill dog under the rug? Josh exposed Leo Pirate and said he has indecent intentions towards this Silent Hill dog. The dog is crying, guys. So is it true, Leo? Do you want to rape the Silent Hill dog?
You know, this is the thing. That's why I use that footage. And this is why Josh has an avatar of a dog's face, right? That he also wants to have sex with that dog. His avatar is, in fact, the image of a dog. So if you judge people what they desire by their avatars, yeah, it's done and set in stone. This is the secret that Josh was able to uncover. And he got this evidence from Daddy Jim, who originally got it from Ralph, who so many years ago started spreading that garbage.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about Fuentes for a bit, right? So Fuentes, big happenings in the Fuentes sphere. Fuentes got retweeted by Donald Trump. You know, one of his America First, Michelle Malkin tweets, videos, whatever it was, got retweeted by Trump, and Twitter deleted that tweet, right? So, I mean, the most exposure that Fuentes is ever going to get is instantly censored. It's over. It's done. And Fuentes is looking like me now. He's looking justed as fuck. It's over. Fuentes has aged about 10 years in the past 2 months since he's been deplatformed from YouTube. Thoughts on the Fuentes question?
Well, he looks like your identical twin, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's looking pretty fucked, I have to say. It's only a matter of time before he's just like screaming and shouting about the truth and how we need to watch the skies and how, you know, Toad McJudas has betrayed him in the Garden of Gethsemane.
I already know what Leo's take on this is going to be, though, which is that this tweet, this retweeting by Donald Trump, is the first step to the Catholic Führer Fuentes.
Yes.
Establishing the Catholic ethno-state, where we'll all be forced to worship on Sundays in a Roman Catholic church. So we have to stand up and fight against this.
Do you
but
really
the prophecies are being fulfilled?
Do you really think his YouTube channel getting removed will stop the Catholic theocracy? Absolutely not. It wasn't a mistake Trump retweeted a Catholic like Fuentes. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Whether he has a platform
theocracy or not. It's nigh. The theocracy is nigh. all should cower. All should cower before the might of the
Sunday
Catholic.
worship. That's it. Walmart guillotines. Anyway, continue.
Yes. So I don't know. It's the Fuentes' greatest hour. It's his most glorious moment. He's been retweeted by the Lord and Savior of the movement, Donald Trump, which, you know, he really shouldn't point out to be a big deal because he tries to criticize Trump on his show constantly. He plays both sides of that, right? Where he's both licking Trump's balls and biting them at the same time. It's just fucking weird. And he's going to celebrate this as a huge win for his movement when he tries to disavow Trump at every opportunity.
And the thing was, it was so optically fucked for him because all of the mainstream media outlets reported it as Fuentes being like this Holocaust denier, this Nazi creepy child. You know, Trump retweets creepy Nazi Holocaust denying Mexican child, homosexual, catboy loving faggot. You know, that was the headline of pretty much every media news outlet there. You know, so it's great optics for the optics king that was Fuentes, right? Great optics for the optics king there. It's as though he's got worse optics now than I think even like Mike Enoch ever had, you know, than even Spencer ever had. You know, the guy is a literal Mexican Jewish child, a homosexual loving catboy, you know, who's denied the Holocaust so many times now that it's over for him in any sort of mainstream environment. He's not going to be this mainstream politician that he used to pretend he wanted to be when he was like 19. It's over. He's destined to become Mike Enoch. Well, he's already growing into this Sargon-esque slob. You know,
this is why
it's over. The guy is aging decades in months. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is why Fuentes' hero, Adolf Hitler, said that a man should never enter politics before he's 30 years old. And we've seen firsthand why, Fuentes' hero, Adolf Hitler, said that. Because Nick has totally embarrassed himself, had to reverse course, flip-flop tons of times. Because, once again, he's an inexperienced child that still lives in his mother's basement. And his mother makes his meals for him, his tendies, and tucks him into bed at night. Fuentes' mom does his laundry and, fucking makes his bed for him in the morning. But, we have to take this guy seriously as a king and a leader.
He's the leader of the white race, PPP.
He's the leader of the white race. So I don't know. He should have read Mein Kampf more carefully before launching on his crusade to power, and maybe he might have waited 10 years and actually been more established before he went on this quest to ruin his life. But that's the breaks. Them's the breaks.
To bring it full circle, you realize that Fuentes is a Mexican Jewish Catholic, right? You know that Dick Masterson in that long stream after you were gone, PPP, he mentioned that he had a Catholic affiliation when he was younger. So another Mexican Jewish Catholic is on our radar. What are the odds? What are the chances? And yet it keeps happening. Very odd.
It's almost like Mexican Jew is like the worst mix possible.
It's so
almost
genetically rare as well, These people are, it's so rare to pop up in the gene pool. Yet, we can see two of them, a mere click away, a mere thumb click away. We see that we've got Fuentes and Masterson dominating the scene with their degeneracy.
I'll tell you, it sure activates my almonds, Godwinson. It sure does.
Fuentes isn't Jewish, he's Irish. Hot take.
Well, apparently he's an Afro-Latino campus conservative. That's what his Twitter says. Yeah.
Just let that sink in,
The Afro-Latino campus conservative. This man is the leader of the white race.
As long as he has a Twitter account, he could still get his voice out. So he's not done. He's still got skin in the game, right? We're still going to see.
But also, right, let's just talk about this seriously here. Who here at this point isn't recognizing Fuentes as a Fed? Like, he's literally been retweeted by the president. So he's an obvious Fed. Like, he's an obvious honeypot. Obviously, if you're donating to him, if you're buying his merchandise, you're being put on a fucking federal watch list. This is so obvious at this point, but he's still pretending to be this underground leader of the white race that absolutely isn't handing all of your personal information to the feds.
Absolutely. He's a trustworthy man. You can trust this.
The guy gets retweeted by Donald Trump.
Oh, no. But he got deleted, and his YouTube channel got taken out. He's a martyr. You guys are calling him a Fed?
Yeah. It's not still up now. It's not still verified now. It's not as though they just haven't. Nothing has happened at all, apart from giving the right wink and dog whistle to Nick Fuentes that his followers needed to legitimize it. His brain-dead followers who don't recognize that this is an obvious sort of federal plant, that Fuentes shares the same office with Spencer in the FBI headquarters there. No, Conservative Inc., they're who you should be going after. Charlie Kirk is who you should be going after. Yeah.
This makes sense. Boys. I think we're cracking the code. We're figuring it out. We now know how to save America, and it's by donating to America First. Do you know that for only $5 a month at nicholasjfuentes.com, you can get access to over 800 archived episodes of Nick Fuentes' show, hundreds of hours of content, more added daily. Did you know that? For only $5 a month.
Wow.
And also the feds get full access to your personal data, your home address, your social security number, your full legal name, your date of birth.
That's not true. Oh, man. All right. Are we calling it, or is there anything else in chat?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're calling it. I think we've had a good show. We've pretty much pounded Ethan Ralph's show into the dust yet again. Like, the guy's got 200 live viewers. It's over. It's done. It's done.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And he's brought the A game of Dome Pesos and Dick Masterson. And they're covering like news that's relevant to them. They're covering the fact that Ethan Ralph's the leader of the white race, and Yo Mama's called him out on that, and they still can't draw in more than 200 viewers. It's over. It's done.
What a disaster! Yet again, another huge victory. A huge victory for This Week in Nectar, the true flagship program on Friday nights. We've taken over the Friday Night Wars. We've won against Gunty yet again.
All right, take care, ladies and gentlemen. Wash your hands and remember to clap for the NHS every Thursday. Leo, have you got any more parting comments?
Just happy Sabbath, everyone. And, praise the Lord. And don't give your information to Nick Fuentes. But
yeah. Happy Sabbath. Happy Sabbath.
Worship on Sunday.
No.
All right. Peace.
Peace.